Hey, Warriors, and happy June. It's Warrior Wednesday. Thanks so much for tuning into webinar number 3 for the summer session of Athena's Warriors United program. This month kicks off the Hostess Promotion, Win Free Sex Toys for a Year. Oh my gosh, who wouldn't want to win that? So use this amazing incentive to fill those open dates in your summer calendar. And you want to hit your WOW and WAR goals this summer. And, of course, offering such a spectacular incentive helps you fill those dates so that you can make lots of money and, of course, hit your WOW and WAR goals, because one of you listening right now is going to win that free trip to Hawaii that I am raffling off to one lucky warrior at the September meeting. Can you envision yourself feeling the ocean breeze while standing on the top deck of that ship, tropical drink in hand, heading to another magical island destination? I know I can. I am ready to jump right into this call. I have Olivia Lee on the line. She's the top recruiter thus far in 2017, and she has a swim class to get to, so I only have her for a very limited time. So, you know, Olivia's on this call because she did something that no one else in Athena's land has ever done before. She recruited 100 people in 4 months. Yep. 100 people in 4 months. 50 of them have placed their first orders. 25 have qualified by selling their first 1,000, and several are now in the running for top new goddess. They're recruiting. They're building teams of their own. I know you want to know how she did it, so let's focus. Close out of your social media, all your notifications and messages. They'll be there in 40 minutes from now. Now is the time to lock in on the learning and absorb all the awesomeness that we are about to unleash upon you. You'll hear code words throughout this call, so listen carefully. The code word or words let us know that you are here and go towards your spoils of war. So your first code word is I. Your first code word is I. So my guest speaker here hails from the state of Maine. She is a consistent top-selling goddess of Athena's, selling over $200,000 a year. She's the team leader of the Sexy Sex Sellers, a Golden Circle of Leadership Award winner, and even popped the lock on the $10,000 treasure box. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Miss Olivia Lee. Welcome to the Warriors United call, Olivia.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for having me on this call. I want to say before we start, to each their own. Like, I really want to inspire and give lots of great information, but what works for some won't work for others, and vice versa. I just want to be open and honest, and I can only hope that my answers will give each person listening at least one thing to improve their business, but hopefully more. Take what hits home for you and leave the rest. And please excuse my Darth Vader voice, because I'm about 2 weeks from my due date and my baby girl's legs are in my chest, so I'm a little breathy. But I'm so excited to be here.
You know, you're a busy woman. You're about to have a baby. You're still doing your parties. You're still teaching your aqua aerobics to the senior citizens. You're still, you know, running around with your 2 other kids. Oh, my gosh, Olivia, I appreciate you for taking time out of your very busy life to do this, to inspire all the warriors in Athena's land. I appreciate you so much for doing this for me. So let's dig in. Let's go back to the beginning. There's a lot of new Goddesses and Adoni who are listening who don't know your origin story. So I would love it if you could tell the people listening how long you've been a goddess and why you joined Athena's.
Well, I'm headed into my 12th year of business. I don't even know how that is possible. I think back to the day I got invited to my first ever Athena's party. I was asked by a friend of the hostess to attend. So I showed up. I was shocked by how different it was than what I had expected. I loved the products, and then I joined within days after being asked in the ordering room if I wanted to join. I'm so thankful that I was that, like, bring a friend, win a prize guest, but even more thankful that the goddess asked me in the ordering room if I wanted to become a goddess. And then she even followed up with me a few days later to help me get started. And I really don't think I ever would have started if she hadn't asked me, because I wouldn't even have thought of it, you know, being a possibility.
Olivia, right away, okay, so you said for people to listen and get inspired right away, the two things that you've just said that stand out to me is you were a bring a friend, win a prize person. So everyone should be doing that because there are Olivias out there who,
right.
who would love to be invited to a sex toy party. And the second thing that I heard you say is that your goddess asked you to join Athena's, which I think some people are nervous to do that. They get scared and they are so afraid of being pushy. But had your goddess not asked you, you wouldn't be here, So I'm so grateful. So right away, those are two amazing golden nuggets. Always have a prize for people who bring friends and ask everyone in the ordering room. So right away, boom, gold.
I love it.
So, and I think that everyone in Athena's land, Goddesses and Adoni, are going to be astounded to hear this. You had a slow start. You didn't come into Athena's selling $200,000 a year. You had a slow start. So how does one go from being like super part-time to super successful?
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I really feel like timing is everything. I joined Athena's just to make a little extra money. I was a full-time college student, and I really wanted to quit, like, my local Rite Aid job. My team leader explained to me that most party hostesses, especially back then, 10, 11 years ago, they were looking for those Friday, Saturday night slots. We didn't really have the weeknight quickies. So even if I just did like 2-3 parties a month, I would be making the same amount of money, if not more, than working every single night after I was in college all day at Rite Aid. So, that was really taking away from my homework time. I would come home from classes, go right to work. I wouldn't get home till about 9:30 or 10, and I was just exhausted. So I knew that it would be the perfect income replacement. And then fast forward 4 years later, I found myself sitting at my computer, job searching, trying to figure out how I could be home full time with my 2 new beautiful babies. I had 2 kids 20 months apart. I wanted to be home with them full time, but make enough money, to give them the world. So that was when I had this huge aha moment. Like, I will never forget sitting at my desk. I just remember thinking to myself, what are you doing? Why are you job searching? You can do Athena's and have the best of both worlds. Full-time mom, part-time job, full-time pay. So I dove right in to my business and everything that Athena's had to offer, unlike never before. Like, you just really have to want it. And, there's so much information there that you can use. So I knew at that time I needed to make $4,000 a month to be me. And so I just did it.
Wow. So, again, golden nuggets right here. College students, the flexibility that Athena's offers is amazing for a college student because, a college student is working at a retail job or a pharmacy like you were. You don't get to make your schedule. So if there's, when it's exams, you can't really walk in and go, hey, I can't come in this week because it's exams. Like they tell you when you're going to work. And with Athena's, you can pick it up. So that's great. The flexibility is fantastic for college students. So there's another golden nugget, everybody. College students are wonderful recruits. And I absolutely love what you said about the fact that you were searching for a job when you had one, right? You had one. You already had one with Athena. Right. And,
Yep,
so
and I see my newbies doing that, too, every now and then on Facebook. Watch for that. Like, I used to unfollow my new team members once they joined because I didn't want my news feed to get flooded with all of their Athena's promotions.
Yeah.
But what I found was that some of them would join, get busy, started with their business, and then they would just fall off the rocker a little bit. And then, 1 or 2 of them would be posting like, does anybody know full-time positions around town? And I was able to catch those and message them right away and tell them, oh my gosh, I've been where you are. I've been there, done that. Just dive into your business. I promise if you focus on this instead of job searching, you're going to get this income flowing in that you didn't even realize could come. So that's been really helpful to my newbies.
That's wonderful because you know exactly how they feel. You were there. I love that.
Yep. Yeah.
So I know this is everybody wants to know how you recruited 100 people. Let's talk a little bit about, though, like your sales, because your sales are astounding, awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping. So can you tell us a little bit about how you started off as Freedom and then transitioned to Indie? Because I believe that everyone should start off as Freedom if they don't have a lot of money to invest in inventory, because it's a great way to get your feet wet, to figure out how you want to run your business, and then when you build the clientele and you're doing consistent parties, then you switch over to Indie, so that way you can now get all the impulse buys and you're making a higher percentage. But I wanted to hear about your transition, like what made you go from Freedom to Indie and how you did that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think so too. Like, I love that I had those 4 to 5 years in the beginning of being Freedom, because I really learned like a lot about the system and my business and myself, and I was able to adjust to everything. But that first time that I hit my goal of doing over 5,000 in sales as a Freedom Goddess, I got that 5% cashback bonus, and it was hilarious because I was so tapped out of Athena, like not involved in everything, because I just did it for fun and it was just a hobby and a little extra income bonus. I didn't even know that I was going to get that 5% cash back. So when I got my bonus check, I was just absolutely shocked. And then because of that money, I was like, I need to do this every month. What have I been doing? So I remember thinking to myself, after a few times hitting that, what if that bonus was a 15% bonus instead of 5? So if I, wasn't Freedom and I was Indie and I was making 50% of my sales commission-wise, that would be an extra 15%, in my pocket. So that was when I started asking the questions about switching plans. I contacted Erica Wallenhop, and I started really asking around, asking what the different opinions were. There'd only been one goddess in the state of Maine who had been Indie before for like a short period of time. So it was still considered, unheard of. There weren't many goddesses in Maine. We were really still trying to get our name out there. So after months of sales increasing and party booking, doubling, I decided it was foolish not to switch. And I had also been asked to be added to Gab. So I knew that I would be making about 6 trips down to Rhode Island in a year with those Gab meetings and then the company meetings. So I knew that I'd be saving a bunch of money on shipping and would be able to pick up my orders. So I was just completely sold. It's timing. Everything just kind of lucked out. And then I knew if it didn't go well, at least I was picking up those orders for that year. And if I needed to, switch back, I could. But then it just took off. It was crazy.
Boy, did it go well.
Yeah, I know.
So proud of what you've been able to accomplish. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, how a college student can go from, super part-time doing 3 or 4 parties a month to a powerhouse who is doing over $200,000. I mean, it's something special, Olivia, for sure. So, I put up a thread in the Warriors community. I put up a thread in the new community, and I asked people, if you could ask Olivia any question about her business, what would it be? So I'd like to ask you some of the questions that people posted and are interested to learn the answers to. So one of the questions was, how did you build your business up to this point, like to go from that college student to a full-time goddess, and about how long did it take you to build to a point? So you said your goal was $4,000 a month, so about how long did it take you to get to that point once you made the decision?
Well, I feel like, too, that startup as Freedom, it really set me up for success. So because I had months of sales growth, I was able to use my profits to buy all my stock with cash money right when I made the switch. So once I received that big first order, I was able to get into the flow of using my profits to build my stock to the desired level that I needed. Just like Chrissy said last week, we kind of had an idea of what we needed for each party. And then it was within like the next order or two that I was able to stop using my profits and just use the other half, which was for product, and I could start banking my profits. So it happened quickly, but I had a client build up, and I had started advertising that I was going to be making the switch. So it just came naturally. It was great.
And how many parties do you have per month to achieve the sales that you currently have?
Oh, boy, this one. When I'm on track with my goals and doing $20,000 in sales monthly consistently, I really am doing 8 to 12 parties a week. But however, life happens, and mine has been all over the place. 2 years ago, my previous marriage started to come to a turning point, and my ex and I decided that it was best that we go our separate ways. So I worked my business, but I fell into this 9-month period of just wanting to spend like every second of my life on personal growth, on my health, getting really healthy and fit, and then just being with my 2 kids nonstop. So what's really interesting is my business supported that, which sounds kind of funny, but thank God for Athena's, because I honestly don't know what would have happened without it. I could never have gotten through that year without it. But in the meantime, I walked myself into $80,000 worth of debt because I was working extremely part-time and still living that full-time life. So once I got through all the changes and the well-deserved time off that I knew I really needed to get back on track with everything, and started taking care of my business again, I was able to jump right in. So after the September meeting last year, I went back right away. I jumped right back into 8 to 12 parties a week. And in just 3.5 months, I was able to pay all my monthly bills every month for that 3.5 months and pay off that $80,000 worth of debt. And I know that it costs $10,000 a month to be me. So me having the only income in our household for 8 years, I just had to be consistent, and I was able to jump right back into that. So it was absolutely crazy.
A lot of people would have left. I've seen it before.
Yes.
Someone goes through a divorce or they have a major life change and they just quit. And you
Yep.
did. I love that you use the flexibility. So just like you did when you were a college student, you use the flexibility of the business to get through a personally trying time and also create the life that you want. You get to be home with your kids. You get to teach your class to the senior ladies that you love, and you get to do your parties, and you get to make the money to be Olivia.
Yes.
I think that's amazing, the flexibility.
It was.
I'm so glad that you took that time to do what you needed to do, but you were still second place in the company. Still, I was just doing all I had to do to scrape by just to make sure that our mortgage was paid and the car payment was paid, and my business really adapted to me and let me do that. It was a miracle. Yeah, so good, so good. So, what advice do you have for newbies who are just starting out, who would love to be earning an income where they're, making $10,000 profit or even $4,000 profit, or, what would you say to those newbies? And I know this must be second nature to you right now because you recruited 100 people. You have 100 newbies of your own, so I'm sure that you're giving out lots of advice. So for company-wide, what is your advice to the newbies?
My advice is so harsh, and I was so happy last week to hear Chrissy kind of acknowledge it as well. You just have to shut the hell up and do it. Seriously. Stop making excuses. Stop thinking that you can just sit around behind your computer and make millions of dollars. You have to get off your butt and work it. And I always joke, but I'm so serious. I eat, sleep, breathe, walk, talk, my business, 24/8. Most days I don't even have time to go pee. But that's because that's what I want. I choose that life, and I love every single second of it. It's where I want my business to be. I have huge goals, and it's only just begun. I really feel like I'm at this huge turning point in my life where I'm ready to take it to the next level. And I keep telling myself that I'm $1 million business owner with a soon-to-be $1 billion title, and I really feel like if you want it bad enough, you can have it. You really get what you give when you're, self-employed and you run your own business, whether it's Athena's or anything.
I agree, 100%. So I'm going to give our warriors our second code word right now, and our second code word is change, CHANGE. The second code word is change. Okay, so now let's do it. You recruited 100 people in 4 months. Wow. No one has ever done that before. You busted through the glass ceiling. I remember many years ago, Holly Haywood had recruited 10 people in a month, and everybody went crazy because no one had done it before.
Right.
And now to see you recruit 100 people in 4 months, I mean, you just showed what is possible here. And the most common question of all the questions that were posted for you is how. How did you do it?
So you're going to hate me for saying this, especially Amy Lebrecq, but the truth is that it really just kind of fell into my lap. Like, you have to figure I have about 10 to 15,000 clients, that I've met, even if they're not regulars, through this 11, 12-year process. And I basically went MIA for just under a year. So when I came back in September, my first priority was to get out of debt. Like, I couldn't recruit if I was living a lie. That was my biggest struggle. Like, I couldn't be out there saying, oh my gosh, look, you can, even though it wasn't a lie, and I still could have told them, here, make $2,000 or $3,000 a month, pay your mortgage, pay your car. I still was just living with this, debt just totally changes your life. So I had put, all of that on hold. If people came to me and they wanted to join, that was fine. But my clients really had just kind of been sitting around. They probably had me on their mind a little bit, but they were really waiting for my return. I walked them through my divorce process, told them that, both of us left the marriage on good terms, but that I needed a little time with my kids. So I had, of course, still been doing parties. I was answering emails, replying to messages, but beyond that, I wasn't pushing really hard for bookings. I wasn't, doing much for follow-up at all. So as soon as I got out of debt in the middle of December, I couldn't wait to share my success. It was all I cared about. So I started telling the world about, what I had done. I had faith in myself again to show people how to mock my success and have it for themselves. I really believe that. So all I had to do was pull up my recruit lead list, which had grown huge, over that year period of taking time off and then getting back into it to get out of debt. And I just started contacting people, and most of them really had just been waiting around to hear from me. I mean, I started messaging them and they were instantly replying, where do I sign up? It was just so, it was it goes to show that the follow-up is so important, and that you can really message somebody out of the blue and ask them if they're ready to join, and they'll say yes. But a lot of it really did kind of fall in my lap because I had set things down. So consistency is definitely key.
So you said follow-up, and that's key because a lot of people don't. They say, oh, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to reach out. And, what if they're eating dinner? What if they're, there's a whole lot of what ifs rather than just I'm going to reach out and ask them, is now a good time to talk,
Right.
So I love that, So it's follow-up. The fortune truly is in the follow-up. So people want to know how you get people to join your team. So that was a very common question, which I guess means, what and the second question is, what do you say to get people interested? So what are your answers to that? So how do you get people to join your team, and what do you say to get people interested?
Well, I don't chase people. You don't want to be that person that's reaching out to them like every single day. I just tell them, what they can have, what the company offers, what they have to do to have it, and then I tell them how to get started. So, it's just as simple as that. This is what you can have if you want it. This is what the company will offer you for, these crazy incentives. This is what you're going to need to do in order to have that, and then here's how to start. So to get people interested, I tell people I make $10,000 a month, and they say, where do I sign up? I tell them about the trips I've earned, the amount of products I get to product test, that's all a tax write-off, the time I get to spend with my kids, and how my business has grown with my life throughout the years and all the changes I've gone through. And, two things that were extremely important to me ever since I was super, super young was having like this beautiful, safe home for my family and being able to just afford a really nice car, so that my kids never had to worry about where they lived and they never had to worry about where they were going to, how they were going to get to activities and from school and whatnot. So I show people that my business provides that, even when I was working super part-time through my divorce, I was still able to pay for those things, and those, are very important to me.
It sounds like you run your business from a deep place in your own heart. Like you have deep beliefs about what you wanted for your children, and that's a huge driving factor. So I can see why you're so successful, because the things that matter to you drive you. And the things that matter to you are so important and so meaningful. A safe home for your children and a reliable vehicle to take them to and from everywhere they need to go. That's a huge motivating factor. I think that if each person in Athena's had something like that, a deep motivating factor, that there would be a lot of people doing what you're doing. I think it's tapping into that place deep in your heart, like what really matters to you, and then working from there.
Yeah,
then how
agree.
would you ever make an excuse? How would you ever make an excuse when you're running your life from that place? So kudos to you.
Right.
So where do your recruits come from? Now, you just said it, that you have 12 years of clients and, you reach out, you did this follow-up, but, do they come from any other place?
I really think like 90% of them come from parties. Like they see what I do, they hear the success that I have, and then they just want it for themselves. And then the rest pretty much from social media, expos, word of mouth. It's just a lot of like follow up on social media or posting about things. If I'm able to pay for my $900 a year ballet class for my daughter, I'll post a picture of that. And that's a huge deal because when I was little, my mom, as a single mom of 3 kids, couldn't afford for me to do that. So when I'm posting a picture of making that payment and it just being Athena's cash money, I really think it makes it feel real to people. So, little posts like that. But really, the majority of it comes from the parties because I really, I say my why story. I tell them how successful I am, and then they just want it. They see how easy it is and how fun it is, and they're ready to join.
Do you ever interview anyone?
I don't. I'm so bad. I honestly don't have time for it. I tried it. I tried it once before. Like I would post like, come see me at Starbucks today. We'll sit and chat about the business opportunity. But everybody's just so busy, which is so sad. But I normally just follow up days later, and it's so funny. Like, when I wasn't following up, nobody was joining my team. I had a really low recruiting year. But if you go and message them the next day and you're like, are you still interested in joining Athena's? It was so great to meet you last night. If so, what questions can I answer? And they're instantly replying. It's like they would never have reached out to you and messaged you if you hadn't reached out. So it's really all about the follow-up. It's crazy.
So do you offer incentives to join your team or to finish training? How do you incentivize your new team members? Because you got team members that are working fast and furious right out of the gate, making money in the running for top new goddess, earning golden jackrabbits. I mean, look at Jenny St. Louis. Oh my gosh, the woman.
I know.
Cover her upper
and she
body.
was a goddess before too, which is just crazy. And she just had, she had a struggle, and then she comes back with this bang. It's just amazing. So I love this question because I do offer incentives, and I'm able to, which is wonderful. Thank goodness I'm able to spoil my newbies. But I don't want people to think I'm just like giving away thousands of dollars worth of product or gift cards or anything like that. Like I really want people to understand what's happening here. So I joined Athena's, and when I signed up, there was the option to buy 3 different starter kits. And I went big. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I bought the $500 starter kit. And with tax and shipping, I think it was almost $600. but I received over $1,000 worth of product. And I can remember getting my box and going through each and every product. It felt like Christmas. It was just crazy. And I really do owe a big part of my success to that starter kit. That thing got me through my first 4 years. Like, I think at one point, like, Jess Carter went to a meeting and she brought back her stuff and she had one item that I bought from her to add to my demo, and I borrowed an item from another goddess. But I mean, really, that big starter kit, I had to take like 2 or 3 things out when it was discontinued. It was all the basic stuff. It was the best investment ever. And I don't know how the mindset changed these days, but everyone wants this instant gratification. And most people have a hard time investing in their business, which is just crazy. Like, you don't open a store locally and say like, hey, I hope my shelves just become full and I make tons of money and I don't have a penny to my name. Like, how are you going to make money without spending money? So I see people that jump into Athena's, they don't buy a demo, and then like a month later they message me and they're like, I just have no success. I don't know what to do. So they quit, and 4 days later they're selling like pots and pans, leggings, or even toothpaste. Like, what? You didn't even try. Like,
right.
It's crazy to me. So I offer my newbies who train within 30 days of their join date a $100 gift card. And if they can commit to training that quickly and being serious about their business, then I personally am willing to invest $50, to help them build their demo with quality items. And I usually encourage them to spend that on like a big ticket item, because I want my girls showing, high-end products. I don't want them going out and buying like 10 or 15 small, like, I've had girls that want to just buy like a silver bullet, a flashing finger, a keep in touch. And I'm like, well, those are all similar and they're all cheap. I really want them having a few high-end items in their demo. So I think it's really important. You definitely sell what you show. Your clients want to buy what you're showing them for the most part.
That's a really big incentive, but you're only doing it for people that are serious. And Olivia, you
right.
have a lot of qualifications. You've got a lot of people who've hit steps of success. I mean, you
right.
look at Chelsea Garrity down in New Jersey. She recruited like a whole team. I mean, it's the growth. So, you said something about people need to spend money to make money at their parties, like buy a
right.
demo, buy good products, buy some of the more expensive products. So that way you have a kick-ass demo. So that way people are going to spend money because they're going to buy what you show. And if you're showing the higher-end items, they're going to buy those and you're going to make more money. It makes sense. But the same thing with what you're doing is you got to spend money to make money. So you're investing in these people, and now you have a top team.
Right.
So
I know. And they're getting that box with that nice $100, item or 2 items. And they just get so excited. They're pumped to book their next party because they want to show that off. I really feel like that's important. And even people come to me all the time and they're like, I'm going to lose my house. Help me. Sign me up. Let's do this. And it's like those people don't have money to invest in this huge starter kit. And what's so great about Athena's is that they can go to their friends and family and say, look, I know you can't help me financially with my life struggle, but I can offer you these amazing products, and if you buy these products from me, the money that I'm going to make from it will help me build my demo kit so that I can start doing parties and making money. So, really tapping into those first few orders being from, your friends, your family, your immediate circle, so that you can take the profits from that and start building your starter kit right away.
So smart. So smart. So with all this influx of new people, and I know that you and I have had this discussion when we've been on vacation together on the incentive trip that you've won, and we've had our wonderful dinners, and we've talked about this. Like, communication with the team is definitely a big part of building a team. But what do you do when people aren't even responding, or they're not on the Facebook page or whatever? Like, there's all different challenges that leaders have with communicating with their team, and suddenly you have a team with 100 people in it. So how are you communicating effectively with this new team that you have built, this huge team?
I know. I had to let it go. Like, I had to just release the guilt that I was in charge of their successes or their failures. Everybody just kept telling me that over and over, and I finally I took a deep breath and I said, I'm here. I'm not here. So if they've got issues and they're not reaching out to me, then, they need to, because I'm here. But other than that, I have my private Facebook team page. And if you don't have one, you need to get one, because this thing is amazing. I mean, you have to monitor it and kind of filter out some of the stuff, but really, your team members are going to start communicating with each other, helping each other. You can chime in, and a lot of the times you're answering questions that other goddesses have, and they're seeing it, and it's helping them. So I also have a separate email address just for my team members. So they know if they need anything from me at all, they can email me, like at thesexysexsellers@hotmail.com. That way, when I have my time set aside weekly for my team, I'm in that email account and I'm only focusing on them. There aren't emails coming in from my clients or for company stuff. It's just their email. So I feel like that's been a huge, helpful place for me to really communicate with them and focus on them 100%. And then another interesting tip, especially with such big growth, there's this really interesting feature on Facebook Messenger where you can change the color of your chat. There was times where I'm so busy and so many people are joining, you can't keep everybody's names straight, and people were messaging me like, how do I place an order? And I would be like, oh my goodness, just go to my website and place an order. Here's the info, just trying to be available and quick and efficient. And then come to find out it's a goddess who had joined, 3 months ago and had kind of fallen off the planet, and I had forgotten her name. And if I had taken a second to breathe and go through the process, I would have noticed it was a goddess. She needed help logging into her back office and placing a supply order. So what I do now is when somebody joins my team, I change their chat color to like this purple shade. And that way when the messages are coming through, I know right away this is a goddess on my team. So I'm able to change my mindset and know that, this is a goddess question, not a customer question. So I don't see that default blue color. And then anybody else that I have on Facebook that's with Athena's that's not on my team, I make them yellow. So I just have this neat color coding system. And it seems to really help. I can, if it's from my team members, I know whether I need to answer them right away or if they can wait the 24 hours I have to get back to them.
Wow, that's really smart. Really smart. Okay, let's see. I have you for another 6 minutes.
Yay!
So let's see. Olivia, would you be open to going through our last few questions in the WAR Facebook group? So if I put up a thread where I ask you to post your top 5 recruiting tips, your marketing tips, your organization tips, and would you mind doing that for me?
Oh, of course, I can definitely do that. I kind of felt like my 5 tips should be typed out anyway because it makes it, easier to see.
So then I'll ask one last question, okay, because again, people think that you and Chrissy have no life at all. And, I'm so proud of you because last summer I was seeing your posts, we're at this concert, like you're...
Yes.
So how are you doing as far as business and personal life? How do you...
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, if you're an Apple lover, and I'm sure like the other devices have it too, but I love the note section on my Apple device. I use it for everything. It's synced with all of my devices. I'm able to keep my big recruit lead list there because I know everybody's like, you must have a crazy database or a spreadsheet. I just have this big list, alphabetical order, people's names, and then a little note next to them like she's a hot mess or she's a good one. She's going to join tomorrow. And I go through that every morning when I wake up and just find a few people to message and talk to. That's where I keep my list of recruits. And that's really helped, just letting go of these big systems that you have to have, back to paper, like Chrissy said, like just, keeping it simple. If paper works, paper works. And that really helped me just let go of trying to come up with some crazy system that was going to just do everything for me, really keeping it personal. But I have an amazing supportive husband who is just 150% all about my success. It's crazy. My mother is so helpful. I have 2 really well-rounded, self-sufficient children that just, oh my gosh, I swear they're the way they are because of my business. I have a part-time assistant, which, I know everybody can't afford, but it's worth every freaking penny. I have a weekly maid, and then that system I have with my note section has just really helped. And I make sure that my goals are loud and clear. I mean, they're big, and they're big on purpose. You know, I want to make things challenging for myself so that I know I need to do it in order to be successful.
Well, I think I saw you post recently that you posted a list of all the fun things that you're doing this summer. On this day, we're going on vacation to my happy place. On this day, we're going to this concert. On this day, we're going to this concert. And I'm so proud of you and so happy for you that you're doing that for yourself, that you're demonstrating how you can be a very successful businesswoman and entrepreneur, a mother, and someone who takes care of themselves. You know, you teach this class for the, swim class, and I mean, you've designed a life that supports everything that you have wanted since you were young. You said it yourself,
right?
That when you were young, you wanted these things, and you have them, and you've worked hard for them, and you have dreams to take it to the next level, yet you're still taking time for you and your husband and your kids, and I applaud you for that. I really do. Because there's this...
Well, and I feel, too, that it unfolds. Like, some people are like, what, you paid your assistant $50, to work 4 hours this afternoon, why? Why didn't you just do it? And if I can take that 4 hours and go out and do something really magical with my family, get out there in public, meet people, talk to people, refresh myself so that I'm ready for my parties, which is where I'm making most of my contacts and my money, and she's, my assistant's busy doing office work, stuff that it doesn't need to be done by me, and then she has, $800 in sales in that 4 hours for me with online promotions and stuff, then I'm taking that $400 income and paying her $50 for all of that. I mean, you have to look at the big picture. It adds up. It's crazy.
Sure does. It sure does. Well, I'm super proud of you, Olivia, and I thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go to the the War page, and I'm going to post these final questions for you. When you have some time, if you could just post the answers, that would be amazing. I'll do that on Wednesday, actually. How's that? So, because I know you have to get out of here. You're going to go teach your swim class with your senior ladies. So I'm going to wrap it up now and just say thank you so much, Olivia, for your time, for your very thoughtful answers, and the inspiration that you provided for the warrior community today. So thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
Right, and it's 11:07. I got you out of here a minute early. Have a good one, Olivia.
Thank you.
Hey, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Olivia. I will be posting a thread in the War Facebook community where Olivia will answer some more questions that you had for her, and she will post her top 5 recruiting tips. If you want part of the War Facebook group, please refer to the email that delivered this call to you and click on the War Facebook group link and add yourself. I will not be posting this in the WOW community because it's recruiting related, so be sure to join the War group if you haven't already. So it's now time for me to give everyone on this call a chance to win a womanizer. You could use this item as a summer demo item. That would be like the highlight of your demonstration for the summer. You could add it as a booking incentive. Anyone who books during the summer gets added to win a womanizer at the end of the summer. You could add it to your own personal stash and keep it for yourself, which is a really good choice. So fill out the Google Docs survey that was included in your email. Share your aha moment with me. I want to know what you thought of Olivia's call. You can find the Google Docs survey in the email that contained this webinar, and it has been posted in the WOW and War and New groups. So click on the link and fill it out completely. This will be counted as proof that you were here for your spoils of war and will enter you to win that free womanizer. You must fill out the form by midnight on Warrior Wednesday, tonight, in order to get entered to win that free womanizer. You have until 11:59 p.m. on Friday, June 9th, to complete and submit your Google Docs survey if you couldn't listen on Warrior Wednesday. By submitting the information, you will receive credit for calling in. And now here's the final code word, everyone. It's LIVES, L-I-V-E-S. Your final code word is LIVES. So there's no Warriors United call next Wednesday. Instead, it's the June Better Business Workshop. We still have some seats available in our live studio audience and unlimited tickets for our streaming audience. You don't want to miss the chance to see top 10 powerhouse Annie Driscoll present her hilarious goddess demo. And I'll be giving you tips and techniques to help you remember names. Super important in business. And the sex ed portion of the night stars sex educator Lisa Hoopis, who will be handling gender pronouns. So it's going to be an incredible night, and I hope you'll be there to learn more so you can earn more. There'll be prizes and raffles all night long. So thanks so much to our guest speaker one more time, Olivia, for an incredible, insightful peek into her business life. And thank you for taking time out of your busy life to listen. I'll see you in our Facebook communities, and Goddess bless.